We have all played games we wish to forget so we can re-experience playing them again for the first time. A game so different and well-crafted that there will never be anything like it. The feeling of having fun may not have to be present in order to enjoy what you're experiencing. There are only a handful of games that I wish I could replay for the first time again, and as of today, Omori joins that small bundle. Welcome, Web of Wires. One morning I woke up and looked at my phone. Omori was all over the place. Usually I ignore these types of games, expecting them to be a fad, but Omori was different. The more I sat on it, the more interested I became in the game. It wasn't until Fuki uploaded his video on June 6th that got me to buy the game a week later. And hey, look at me now. I'm actually playing a turn-based RPG for once. I've played a few turn-based RPGs before, but I wouldn't really consider most of them to be fun. Once you find something that works, it's just repeating that process until you win. What's nice about Omori is that it doesn't follow this pattern. It introduces a combat mechanic that not only fits the tone of the game, but is fun to figure out. It's similar to a game of rock, paper, scissors, where each one has a weakness, strength, and no effect. The chart looks something like this, where each emotion can have 2 different levels of severity, Omori having 3. Enemies are very expressive, whether they are happy, sad, or angry, and are often predictable. A character that has a high self-esteem is going to be happy during a fight, and might make you angry. It's fun trying to balance all these emotions, making sure you always have the upper hand. Enemies will change the playing field, so repeating the same process over and over again isn't effective. And because of how simple it is and how strategic it can get, Omori holds its place as one of my favorite turn-based combat systems. I think part of the reason I like every encounter thrown at me is because of the music. Omori has a staggering 179 pieces, and somehow not a single piece falls off in quality. Every piece in the game has a story to tell, and hits every emotion needed to progress whatever is happening. Whether cheerful or fearful, the soundtrack never fails to disappoint. Immediately, the piano and visuals give you a welcoming sense of comfort, yet at the same time, a deep feeling of emptiness. The piano starts to fade away into white noise, and you're introduced to Omori's dream world in the White Room with nothing but a few items. No walls or restrictions for your imagination, just empty void for your mind to wander, and I think opening the story in this room was absolute genius. The story starts in this cute, colorful, and comfortable pastel world filled with everything you could have hoped for. Caring friends, fun adventures, and your biggest worry is being a little spider. Omori's friends are also very easy to like, with each character being relatable to someone in a friend group. Kel and Aubrey often get into little arguments, while Hiro tries to break them up and put on a smile. Basil is always quiet, taking photos of his friends whenever he can. Mari is always there for you whenever you need help. And Omori is just there in black and white, expressing no emotion. His feelings all bottled up and ready to explode, which is further demonstrated in the combat segments. Omori is the only person who has 3 stages of emotion in battle, unlike the 2 everybody else has. But even though he has 3, each emotion can feel much more extreme than everybody else. The story starts off with a mission to find Basil. As you explore the dream world, you get to really understand just how beautiful and happy this place feels. The art style is so expressive, with every little piece contributing towards the characters. I will never get tired of watching a new animation of a fight or seeing cutscenes I already watched over and over again. It goes a long way into making you feel like this is where you belong, but you don't deserve any of this. You don't belong in any of these photos. That isn't you. It's a vessel for something much weaker to hide in, and this is demonstrated within the first hour. The only thing that occasionally pulls me out of my immersion is that every character doesn't have an animated face. It's a bit weird talking to someone and seeing Kel's smile, then nothing but text on the other side. But Omori's dream world gives you a lot to break down on your own. It's a dream, none of it is real, but it all means something to him. This also means the real world can affect the dream world based on recent experiences. Things can't stay the same forever, can they? Which is when you're thrown into Sunny's life, leaving his Omori persona. He had isolated himself from the world after his friends started to drift apart from each other. Kel finds out that in a few days, Sunny is leaving his hometown and they want to get the group back together to hang out at his house like old times. Everybody is so grown up, but slowly over the course of the story, you piece together the events of your childhood with these people. Sunny has been trapped away for years, isolating himself from the world. He's stuck in this paradise where anxiety won't affect the people around him. So when he's faced with being out in the world and living how he used to, It's uncomfortable. You can tell that Sonny wants to go back to his dream world, but faces the harsh reality of how things have changed, which is one of many messages in the game. What I love about art is how many ways it can be interpreted. It's going to mean something different to everybody. Omori is an interactable painting that feels very personal to Omocat. A story doesn't have to be a literal retelling in order for it to feel personal. I'm pretty sure Maddie didn't climb a magical mountain and base her story off of that adventure. This story, while not the best writing you'll ever hear, has a very good balance between story and gameplay. If it wasn't paced as well as it was, it wouldn't have been able to tell the story it was trying to say. And while yes, there were times that annoyed me a bit, it didn't take away from the core experience. But to me, the story is about overcoming your fears and the joy of remembrance. But to you, it could be learning to forgive, learning to control your anxiety, growing up, dealing with the consequences of life. There's never one true meaning to art, and I think that's where the beauty of Omori really lives. Omori is a game that will be stuck in your head for weeks after beating it. It's an indie game that is going to go down as one of the best of this generation. The story has a ton to dissect and lots of secrets you'll miss on your first playthrough. It's not really scary most of the time, it's more disturbing. But Omori knew the power that video games have on you mentally and pushed it to its absolute limit.